Right then, this is a walk around video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel. 2013 car with just 47,000 miles on the clock, and it is one of the cleanest CR-Vs I think we've ever had. It's absolutely stunning condition. Finished in this really lovely rich colour with a light leather interior. Combination works absolutely perfectly on the car. Lights and lenses, you can see there, are completely clear and intact, apart from a few flies that decided to deposit themselves on the bumper. There are no marks, scratches or anything on there at all. Likewise, bonnet, absolutely as clean as a whistle. I can't see any stone chips or anything on there at all. Near side of the car, and it is mirror smooth on the panels, no indentations. It looks so fresh and clean. Near side front alloy, the one takes all the bashing, and there's nothing there at all. And to come down, the remaining panels on the near side, it really is quite extraordinary. Near side rear alloy, absolutely unmarked. And then to come down the panels on this side as well. Back of the car, as with the near side, absolutely unmarked as well. Around to the off side, driver's side of the car, again, beautiful condition. Side rear alloy, again, absolutely unmarked. The remaining panels are just beautifully clean. I mean, they're not just clean, they've got that kind of real sort of glint to them. There's been no polish put on the car. I haven't even washed the car off, that's how clean the car is. Offside front alloy, again, unmarked. And it really is, it's one of the very cleanest CR-Vs anywhere in the marketplace, this one. It's coming into the boot area, absolutely enormous boots on the cars, of course. 60/40 fold in the rear seats, but again, as with the exterior, the interior is just simply amazing. Most CR-Vs are used for their purpose, so they're used as estate cars and family cars, which means they can be a little bit bashed about inside, which is just normal wear and tear. But whoever's had this one, hats off to them, because they've kept this thing just amazingly well. You can see here it's got the boot mat in here as well to protect the carpets underneath. Carpeted area looks absolutely as new underneath there. So coming into the back of the car now, and you've got this gorgeous leather interior. I mean, the leg room is kind of limousine-esque in the back here, and those front seats are set for me, and I'm over 6 foot tall. So I mean, it is just so roomy. Leather work is just beautiful. Video is not going to do justice to the interior of this car in any way, shape or form. I do apologise. Full set of mats to protect the carpets underneath, which again are in just fantastic condition. Front passenger door card, as with all the others, again fantastic as well. All of the recess has been kept wonderfully well. Footwell areas pristine, and front passenger seat there, you can see, is in super condition. So finally come to the driver's door card. Again, all the switch gears, just no sort of nasty sort of marks or scratches on them. Electric memory seat buttons there as well, and then footwell areas, and driver's seat is in fantastic order. Let's just pull it out of the way, sorry for you, because it's not hiding anything, I promise you that. The leather work is just stunning inside the car. So sat inside the car now, engine's running through this section so the dash can be seen illuminated, which just looks absolutely as if it's straight out the factory. Just going to close the electric roof blind there so it doesn't glare on the screen. So you can see it working perfectly there. Pop it into reverse. Sorry for the shaky camera, doing this one-handed. You've got that lovely clear parking camera working exactly as intended. But it is a rarity, this car, in terms of its condition. It really, really is. We come across the dashboard, hopefully you can see 47,350 miles, and there are no warning lights on the car whilst the engine's running. I've had a few of these and we've sold loads of them, but this is right up there with the very best we've ever had. So finally, just to come under the engine bay, which as you'd expect from Honda, is always really nicely presented. Cam chain driven engines, there's no cam belts to worry about on these cars at all, and they are superb units. Then this is a quick road test video, and this is for a Honda CR-V 2.2 EX diesel, registered FP13YZH. Pardon me. Mileage at the start of the video is 47,350 miles. The reason we do the videos essentially is that we just want people looking at the cars online in an advert to be able to see those cars actually in operation. We're aware that many of our customers travel vast distances to come and see our cars, certainly from the whole of the UK, but also Europe as well. So the least we can do is to go to the time and effort to do this for you. Basically, because we know just how annoying it can be if you see a car online advertised. Go there, drive it, and find out it's got a fundamental problem or a warning light on, or an issue with it which, you know, should be flagged up, which would manifest itself on test drive. So that's why we do it, because we've been on the receiving end ourselves, basically. Road test is also done on these really quiet country roads. It's a beautiful part of Gloucestershire. We're very lucky to live here and work here as well. And we're literally just a couple of minutes off the motorway, so it's ever so easy to get to as well. It's, you know, stress-free as far as possibly can be. So coming to the car itself, engine of course starts absolutely instantly. There are no warning lights at all on the dashboard relating to the engine or any other part of the car. Engine starts and settles to an absolutely smooth and even idle. The engines themselves are absolutely brilliant. They really are. They're everything a good turbo diesel should be. So it's all the hallmarks. It's got loads of torque, loads of power. So it pulls effortlessly from low revs and very strongly indeed. But unlike some, it doesn't suffer huge turbo lag, where there's nothing when you put the throttle down. It's pretty much there straight away. But it maintains that power and torque through the whole of the rev range. It doesn't sort of peak and trough in power delivery, and that can be really frustrating actually. And it's also what can hurt fuel economy, because it means you're up and down the gearbox for more than you really should be. But on top of that, it's just the way it goes about its business. They are so smooth and so quiet in operation, these engines. They are just lovely units to drive. You know, realistically, when you're in the very lowest of gears, first and second gear, then you're aware it's a diesel. Of course you are. Even Honda can't engineer that out. But you know, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, it's very petrol-like in the way it performs, sounds, and just the sheer lack of noise, basically. Engine then feeds through clutch into gearbox. Clutch is perfect. It's exactly where it should be on the pedal travel. It's light and smooth in operation. Gearbox, I've said it a million times on these CR-Vs, it is a stunning gearbox to use. It's much more like a gearbox on a sportier Honda, and so unlike so many cars in this category where they seem to get away with giving you kind of a truck-like gearbox, sort of long in throw, a bit wafty and aimless, a bit vague. This is the polar opposite of that. It's short, it's crisp, it's got beautiful synchro mesh. It's just a lovely gearbox to use day in, day out, and I can't feel anywhere in it at all. It feels exactly as it should. Steering on the car, which has always been a strong point on the CR-Vs, the reason being it's got a lovely natural weighting, well, not natural because it's like electric power steering of course, but it feels natural. They've done a brilliant job on it. It just feels the right weighting for the car. It makes the car feel nice and heavy on the road, but it's very precise, very accurate. I can't feel anywhere in it. Track's absolutely dead straight. There's no vibrations at all that come back through the steering wheel either at this speed or any speed up to the legal limit. Chassis of the car, again what I'm looking for on road tests, when you hit a bump there shouldn't be any kind of chatterings or knockings from the suspension, and there's nothing at all on the car. You can obviously hear it hitting the bump, but nothing thereafter. It's also, I mean, Honda know this market brilliantly, better than anybody in fact, because the CR-V is the best selling SUV in the world. In America it's just amazingly popular. This month they sold 44,000 of them. It's an amazing success, but you can see why, because it drives brilliantly. It managed to strike a very, very good compromise, which is what suspension's all about, between ride and handling. Now, handling isn't massively important on an SUV because they're predominantly family cars, so you're not going to expect people to throw them into corners and try and sort of drift them through. So what Honda have come up with is a very, very comfortable car to drive. It absorbs bumps very nicely. It's got a nuggety, well damped feel to its suspension, but unlike so many in tight corners, but also the high speed stuff, it's not found wanting. It doesn't pitch and wallow, doesn't have huge body roll angle unless you absolutely hammer it through a corner, but it makes the car feel very settled on a run. And if your kids, because it's the backseat passengers that suffer most in these type of tall cars, because they can't see the bumps coming. As a driver, you anticipate it, they don't. So if you've got a car that's wallowing about, it can be nausea city in the back, unfortunately. And these are brilliant in that respect. Brakes on the car, make sure there's no one directly behind me. That's a really good brake pedal on the car. There is someone directly behind me. I've done them earlier, but the brakes are really good. But there's no pulsing or vibrations back through the brake pedal. All's exactly as should be. Looking inside the car, two things that stand out. One that's very hard to get across on the video is just how beautifully made these things are. It just feels rock solid. There's no trim buzzers or rattles. It's just a wonderfully put together car. But it's just a lovely place to sit and operate a car as well. This interior, which doesn't always photograph well, so I do apologise, but to be honest with you, it's very sought after in the CR-V circles. Reason being, black interiors, yeah, they're very nice. Of course they are. I've got black interior in one of mine. My preference is for these. Two reasons: extremes of temperatures, really. Hot days, you don't get in and burn your backside if you're wearing shorts or skirts or anything. And on cold days, they don't go freezing cold either, so it's the best of both worlds. But the other thing, which is underplayed really, is the lightness it brings to the interior. It brings dark cars with black dashboards, with black everything else. It's a sea of black, a bit of a coal mine feel to them. These, especially with these panoramic roofs, it just adds a lovely warmth to the interior of the car in all conditions, sort of dark days, light days. It works brilliantly well, and they are very practical, so it's not light interiors, oh my goodness me. If you get mud on them, you just wipe it with a wet wipe and dry it straight off. It is a very, very practical interior actually, and I've got kids, so I know just what it's like to have to put up with all of the muck that they trail in. On top of which, I don't think I've seen a CR-V in our hands in this condition. We sell some lovely ones in fantastic condition, but this has just been nurtured. You can just tell it. Last but not least, they are four-wheel drive, this version at least anyway, but there's no buttons to press. The car does it all for you. Honda worked out very quickly that most people will drive in conditions like this, so why bother having the four-wheel drive wearing away the whole time? Because all you actually achieve is you use your tyres up more quickly, you use more fuel, and you put more mechanical stress to the cars. So should your front wheels lose grip, start to spin, it instantly brings in the rear wheels to give you four-wheel drive and disengages it pretty much just as quickly. It's a brilliant and bomb-proof system, one which we've never put a spanner on across thousands using this or a very similar system. As I said at the start of the video, the point of it is just to show you the car in operation, but to feed back in any issues. There's nothing on this car at all. It drives sensationally well. They generally do, but there's something about this car, it just feels as close to new as I've ever driven a car on this age and mileage. And whoever's lucky enough to get it next will be taking on a fantastic car. As always though, any questions, don't hesitate, do give us a call.